It is very important to subscribe to not lose any videos. 10 things dogs hate about humans. Dogs are usually the pets of human company par excellence, being faithful, adorable, loyal and above all protective of the home and family members. Many times we adopt a dog to become a member of the house, but we might acquire behaviors towards them that can make them feel uncomfortable, fearful or sad. Despite the above, dogs remain faithful to humans, loving and being loyal, without showing signs at times when something bothers them. The hugs. It is clear that this point is not something that bothers all dogs. A dog characterized by being affectionate will appreciate receiving love at any time, but in certain breeds of dogs this show of affection can be interpreted as a sign of domination which causes them discomfort. Many dogs tolerate the hugs of their loved ones or those they trust, but that does not mean that this is something they like. It is important to observe the behavior of our pet when receiving a hug. Attending to attitudes such as a rigid posture, retracted ears and an expression that denotes tension. It is important to teach children not to hug a dog they do not know, because although for us a hug is something wonderful, a dog may not respond well. Teach your child to respect the dog's personal space so you can prevent any accident. Use too many words and little body languages with us. We sometimes hate when people are not clear about what they want us to do. Well, in dogs this is an even greater reason for discomfort. It is obvious that we do not have the same language, but even so, dogs can come to understand specific words. For example, you cannot reason with them with expressions such as, "If you behave well, I will reward you." They will only understand isolated words, that is, reward and good, so they will understand that they have already behaved well and they get confused by not receiving their prize at that time. You should use a simpler language to avoid your dog being bothered with your indication, accompanied by good body language. Using words that he knows is good, walk, reward, using an attitude that accompanies this order will make your message more understandable to him. Shout. Another thing that dogs hate about humans is that we shout. The best way to train a dog to obey you is to use what is known as positive reinforcement. Reprimanding them when they do something wrong, shouting at them, will make them feel fear and anxiety, or in other cases they simply won't understand why you're yelling at them, generating a state of discomfort. If you want to set limits on your pet, it is better to do using positive reinforcement. Reward it to stop doing what irritates you. For example, steal your socks. Once you have released them, give it a cookie or snacks. For pets, to long-term your behavior will improve, but this may require time and patience. Pet a dog's face or pat its head. Similar to what happens with hugs, dogs usually allow this type of action only when it comes to a person they trust or a loved one. But they only do so in an attitude of tolerance, not pleasure. Think about it this way: would you like a stranger, or in known cases, to touch your face or pat your head? All those feelings that are coming to your mind at this time to imagine the situation are the same that invade your pet. Dogs, like us, need respect. So it is important to teach our children and also to do it, respect the personal space of our dogs. Force your dog to interact with dogs or people you don't like. Another thing that dogs hate about humans is that we force them to be with people or animals that they don't like. We all have people that we like or others that we would rather not cross, and this is no exception with dogs. There are many dog owners who tend to ignore the signs of their pets, pressing them to interact in social situations that are not to their liking, forcing them to be with other dogs in parks, and forcing them to allow the caress of strangers. To avoid this situation, it is important to know how to interpret the body language of your pet. These attitudes are usually quite obvious to notice, so if you want to be happy, avoid coming in contact with but all those individuals who can alter it. Don't let the environment smell. Taking your pet for a walk is one of his favorite activities. Not only for the exercise that accompanies this activity, but sniffing the aromas of the environment and marking them is his way of collecting information from the world around them. Imagine that this is the means of your pet to keep up with the information of the world just as you do through social networks. When you hurry your dog to follow the step while it stops sniffing, it is as if while browsing the web someone turned off the device through which you are being informed, which will not be pleasant at all. Remember this comparison the next time you take your pet for a walk and stop to sniff. If you give him his time, he will be much happier. Dress them or attach accessories similar to previous cases. This is another of the human attitudes that dogs tolerate much more than feeling like them. It does not happen with all breeds, but you may consider it appropriate to accustom your pet to wearing sweaters or capes in the winter to keep them warm, but you should not abuse this. Putting them on dresses or costumes causes them to become a center of attention, which in several races is to their liking, but in many others, this causes them anxiety and confusion. Being able to react badly to this change in attitude regarding the amount of attention they receive normally. To be in a bad mood. Another thing that dogs hate about humans is that we are in a bad mood. Dogs are beings with an incredible sense of empathy, capturing when their human friend is angry, sad or stressed. Some of these attitudes are inevitable. We all have bad days and we are emotional beings, but if you find yourself always sending negative emotions to the environment, your dog can be affected, adopting your same feelings, or in the worst case, becoming physically ill when seen, surrounded by so much negativity. Leave them alone too long. Dogs are familiar animals. They need the presence of other household beings to be happy. If you, like many other people, spend many hours outside your home for work reasons, it is normal that you do not spend many hours with your pet. This absence saddens your dog, causing him to get sick or even become vindictive. This situation is further aggravated if when you do not spend any time to play with him when you get home. To solve this, you can get someone trustworthy of your pet to go through your home and spend some time, reducing the hours of loneliness. But it is important to note that a dog likes nothing more than spending time with his favorite human. Leave them on the street or in animal shelters. Dogs suffer greatly when they are abandoned. It is not necessary to be such an empathic being to answer the question, what would you feel if the beings you love kick you out of your home because they no longer love you? Leaving them on the street is something that simply has no excuse, but leaving them in a shelter can be for several reasons that would need to be analyzed specifically. If you cannot keep your pet, for whatever reason, the best thing you can do to make him happy is to take time to find a home where you can be certain that he will be loved, treated with respect, and take all the care he needs and definitely deserves.